What's up, everyone? Rather, WhatsApp. WhatsApp recently updated its terms and conditions and its privacy policy, and it created quite a havoc. Elon Musk tweeted two simple words, use Signal, and the world went berserk. We have witnessed pure confusion when it comes to the WhatsApp privacy policy. Many of our subscribers have been confused if they should stick with WhatsApp, move to Telegram, or to Signal, or some other app. And I think it's worthwhile to take a step back and discuss what are the hard facts here and bust some myths. Starting with the myth number one. Most people are confused as to why is WhatsApp sharing data with Facebook, and many believe that WhatsApp is an independent business. Fact check, WhatsApp is actually a subsidiary of Facebook. And way back in 2014, Facebook acquired WhatsApp for $19 billion. The common question that I get asked often is, so can Facebook start reading our WhatsApp chats? That is clearly a big myth. Similarly, I'm asked if Facebook now knows who we are messaging or calling on WhatsApp. Myth number 4 is Facebook can track our location we share with our friends on WhatsApp. Now these three myths are a pretty big deal. Let's get into the fact check here. Firstly, it is very clear that WhatsApp nor Facebook can see our messages or hear our calls. It's very important to understand this. Secondly, WhatsApp does not keep logs of everyone who we are calling or messaging. So it's not just the content, but also who we are messaging or calling. That they have no clue about. Thirdly, when we share our location with anyone over WhatsApp, that information doesn't go across either. So in short, who you're messaging, the content of your messages, and by messages I also mean calls included in that, is completely secure, and nobody, not even WhatsApp, forget Facebook, would get to know of those things. Now, the next myth, myth number 5, is that WhatsApp has the same privacy policy across the world, and all of us got the exact same notification asking us to agree to the new policy. Unfortunately, that's not true. WhatsApp has a different privacy policy in Europe, and that's because they are governed by the GDPR laws, which are far more restrictive and also make sure that consumers and their privacy is well taken care of. Now, next myth is very interesting. Most of us know that WhatsApp has 2 billion users, and therefore the assumption that people draw is that if you have 2 billion users, WhatsApp is making billions in profits. A quick fact check here, yes, WhatsApp has 2 billion users and is clearly the largest. Facebook Messenger is not really a direct competitor to WhatsApp. WeChat, QQ, these are all China only services. So really, the competition for WhatsApp is 400 million users of Telegram and then 10 to 20 million odd of Signal. Another fact check, while WhatsApp has 2 billion users, it generates very limited revenue. And I think that economically is a challenge. As you can see, WhatsApp has no subscription fee whatsoever right now. Yes, they did consider $1 annual subscription fee at one point in time, but there is no fee at this moment in time. There are no ads clearly. They have no referrals going on. So the only way they make a little bit of money here and there is by WhatsApp business accounts. And for a business of this scale, that's clearly not good enough. Next, myth number 7. Given all that we have read in the press and all that we have heard from others about WhatsApp, many people believe that Telegram is a lot safer than WhatsApp in terms of privacy. Quick fact check here. We at Tech and Travel went into details of this so that we can help you understand the issues here. Telegram is not fantastic when it comes to privacy at all. Firstly, the messages are not end-to-end encrypted, unlike WhatsApp. Even your group chats are not encrypted to the level that they are in WhatsApp. And some of you might have read, Telegram did have its episodes of security breach in 2020, resulting in exposure of about 40 million IDs. So overall, Telegram doesn't seem to be an answer to WhatsApp when it comes to privacy. If anything, Telegram is much closer to being a social network than being a completely private chat channel. So now I'm coming to myth number 8. Elon Musk said it as well. Simply move to Signal. And the implication that people draw is that, well, there is no downside in moving to Signal. So fact check, when it comes to privacy, there is no doubt that Signal is stronger than WhatsApp. Firstly, it collects very limited information about you. Now, as we have discussed at length here, WhatsApp doesn't read the content of your messages, nor does it know who you're messaging, when are you messaging, who are you calling, etc. But WhatsApp does collect some bit of metadata. That includes your IP address, your phone model, the operating system that you're using, the last login, signal strength, etc. And reading the privacy policy of Signal, we have come to the conclusion that, well, Signal is not even collecting this very basic information. So while privacy is clearly a big plus when it comes to Signal, there are three main issues. Firstly, not many of us are on Signal. I tried out Signal and I could barely touch 5% of my contacts, in fact just 3% of my contacts. And that's not surprising at all. WhatsApp has 2 billion users, Signal has less than 1% of that, maybe up to 20 million users. So you would expect almost everyone to be connected on WhatsApp, while on Signal you'll always struggle to find contacts. In my case, therefore, Signal ended up being yet another app for me as opposed to replacing WhatsApp. Now, over the last couple of weeks, as more and more people started joining Signal, there came the next big problem. Signal just doesn't have the infrastructure to support so many users. They are struggling at 20 million users, forget 2 billion users. So this is something that Signal certainly needs to fix up. Thirdly, there is no iCloud or the equivalent Google backup when it comes to Signal yet. And that has implications. If you lose your phone, then you probably would lose all your messages. So I guess to summarize here, while there are clear benefits of Signal when it comes to privacy, these three main issues with Signal are a big deal. In fact, most people would struggle to keep Signal only and not touch WhatsApp. Now the next myth, given what everyone has been reading about WhatsApp in the press and in the news and everywhere else, people started to believe that Facebook and Twitter are actually a lot safer than WhatsApp. And this myth has to be busted. Now clearly when it comes to social networks, there the idea is about sharing your messages. Your content is not encrypted. Therefore, our view is very simple. If one is active on any of the social networks, then the metadata collected by WhatsApp is hardly relevant when it comes to privacy. It's only if you are not on any social network and you're not to be found anywhere, then maybe that metadata that WhatsApp is collecting is something that you might want to consider. So now that we have gone into detail and separated myths and facts, let's really get down to, therefore, what is our overall recommendation on WhatsApp privacy and what should you do going forward. Number one, at the moment when it comes to your personal messages, nothing has changed at all. WhatsApp is very secure and a lot more private than social networks, a lot more private than your Facebook Messenger, a lot more private than Telegram for sure. Second is, I personally believe that privacy standards should be the same globally. Now this is not something that we as users have to take as our homework, but it's more for the regulators that they should look into the privacy standards and apply something similar to GDPR everywhere. And lastly, for the largest app in the world which has 2 billion users, the app that we all spend a lot of time on, I fundamentally believe that WhatsApp deserves to make much larger profits. And therefore, I guess WhatsApp has to be a bit more creative about how they see their financials going forward. As opposed to compromising on privacy, I would much rather have them either charging a subscription fee or moving to advertisements or finding any other way that would, from a privacy standard, be acceptable, but they still make money. So what's your verdict on this WhatsApp privacy saga? Do you have a different point of view? Do let me know in your comments, and happy to address it further in our next video. For more such unbiased reviews and for the latest on tech and travel, subscribe to our channel Tech and Travel.